deemed to be unclean sinners. And here was Jesus treating them with love and kindness and compassion. And they didn't like it. And yes, they were experts in the law. They knew the Jewish law backwards, forwards, left, and right. But the problem was they didn't know God. They didn't know who God is and what God is. And so Jesus told this story. The story was directed at them. They're actually a character in the parable. Which character is represents, I should say, those religious leaders? The older brother, the one who is offended by God's grace, by God's forgiveness, right? Jesus is talking directly to them with that character. And so that's the point. So let's talk about, that's who Jesus is talking to. Keep that in mind. He's tackling the issue of exclusion. And so you know the story. Let's recap the story if you don't mind. The story has three main characters. Who are the three main characters in the story? A father and two sons. And the driving point of the story is the younger son comes to the father and he says, "Father, give me my share of the inheritance now. Give me my share of your wealth." Now, under normal circumstances, when would that son receive his share, his inheritance from the father? On the event of his father's death. So let's pause a moment and understand what that son is saying. What he is saying is essentially, "Dad, I wish you were dead." Right? Yeah. Yeah. I want what's coming to me now. I want what I would get on the event of your death, and I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of the charade. I'm tired of you. Just give it to me now, and I'll be on my way. Now, parents, let's pause here. If your child came to you with this request, what would you say? Imagine the hurt. Imagine the hurt, the heartbreak, the disappointment, the anger, everything you would feel. And then what happened next? Well, that son, he moved to that far-off land, and the Bible tells us, Jesus tells us in the story, he went through everything in a matter of weeks, through wild living. And maybe your mind is racing right now. What does he mean when he says wild living? Stop it. Don't think. This is church. But it's fair to assume he brought shame, great shame on himself. And not just on himself, on his father. It's fair to assume he acted wickedly. And in so doing, he blew all the money. And everything was gone. And when all the money was gone, so were all his girlfriends. And so were all the other people who he thought were his friends. They had so much fun together. They did so much. They hung out so much. They experienced so much. The stories they had. But they weren't really his friends after all either. So he was left with nothing. He was left poor and hungry. And then, in the story, Jesus tells us a great famine came to that land and made it even worse. And now he was desperate. So guess what he did? He got a job. And what was his job? Did you hear that in the story? He became a professional pig feeder. He hooked on with the farmer, and the farmer said, "Hey, guy, I got a job for you. You feed my pigs." And he was so hungry, the story tells us. He had so little to eat.